Have you ever considered what the military employs to keep the bad guy at bay and prevent terror from spreading throughout the land? You might think that you've heard everything, seen everything, and read everything. However, these technologies are so sophisticated that the military employs them as top secret. Technology is always evolving and not static. As such, today's video will talk about the top 13 most advanced military technologies that you've never heard of. With this in mind, I have compiled a list of the top 13 sophisticated military technologies that are now off the public's radar but are expected to create huge ripples in the future. Stay tuned till the end of the video to learn more. Number 13. Unmanned Submarine Hunter. More and more countries are deploying ultra-quiet submarines that can loiter close to shore unnoticed. Defense authorities are concerned about this possibility and are looking at one of DARPA's major programs, the Anti-Submarine Warfare Continuous Trail Unmanned Vessel, or ACTIV, also known as Sea Hunter. Consider it a water-based drone that can hunt submarines for months on end without anyone changing watches, at least aboard the vessel. The ACTIV will be able to navigate confined channels and ship traffic automatically thanks to sonar, radar, and other synthetic vision systems. Raytheon provides the active sonar, while Leidos provides the boat. A prototype is now being tested at sea. Number 12. Self-steering bullets. A 50 caliber bullet in development, packed with microscopic sensors, may alter direction quickly in midair, possibly giving even a mediocre shooter sniper-like precision and the ability to hit moving targets with ease. Furthermore, while the cost of these improved rounds is uncertain, they are very certainly less expensive than the rocket-propelled missiles that they may occasionally replace. DARPA, which is collaborating on the X-Acto project with military contractor Teledyne Technologies and ammunition manufacturer Orbital ATK, is staying quiet about how the bullet alters its flight path. A rival attempt from Sanya Labs utilizes a laser to signal the target while tiny fins on the bullet direct it in flight. Both programs are currently in the testing phase. Number 11. Laser Cannons. For real. The classic science fiction weapon is closer to reality than ever before. The Navy's laser weapon system testing on board the USS Ponce in the Persian Gulf went well, and the Navy hopes to deploy even larger laser guns aboard ships to protect them from threats like small attack boats and drones. Meanwhile, Boeing and the Army are developing a truck-mounted laser capable of zapping incoming threats such as mortar rounds or drones. This initiative is known as HAL-MD, which stands for High Energy Laser Mobile Demonstrator. Lockheed Martin's Athena system is also vying for a slice of the Defense Department's ray gun market. One of the numerous advantages of lasers is that they may be fired repeatedly at a low cost. Just the diesel to power the truck-mounted generator that generates the burst of energy that the laser concentrates downrange. Number 10. Every ship an aircraft carrier. Smaller Navy ships like destroyers and frigates need the eyes in the sky that carrier groups have with their squadrons of aircraft, helicopters, and drones. While there are currently a plethora of small unmanned aerial vehicles in use, the challenge of employing them on the water has been launching and recovering them in stormy seas and on narrow decks. DARPA's Stern program, which stands for Tactically Exploited Reconnaissance Node but also conjures up images of seabirds, wants to fill that need with an aircraft that can take off and land on its tail. It is propelled into the air by two counter-rotating propellers. The aircraft then transitions to horizontal flight to scan the sky for threats, reporting video, radar, and other images back to the ship. It reverses the procedure to land. DARPA intends to construct a full-scale demonstration system. The principal contractor is Northrop Grumman. Number 9. Plasma Protection Field. Boeing has applied for a patent for a system that uses plasma fields to shield cars from blast damage. The plan is to generate an ionized airfield that deflects the approaching bombardment. What it cannot do is stop an incoming projectile like a rocket-propelled grenade or anti-tank missile, but current active protection systems like the Army's Iron Curtain are built to deal with that. Don't expect a dome to form around the vehicle as in Star Wars. The Boeing technology will only protect in the direction of the approaching blow. Number 8. Invisibility from a squid. Current camouflage can conceal soldiers and vehicles from human sight, but it is nearly worthless against increasingly prevalent infrared vision technology. Scientists at the University of Irvine, California seek to alter that using invisibility patches, which are based on a structural protein used by common squid, the ones that become calamari, to change the color and reflectivity of their skin. This protein, known as reflectin, operates at the same wavelengths as night vision devices, which is where its potential resides. However, scaling up this discovery to meaningful military use might take several years. Number 7. Extra Stealthy Bomber. The next-generation long-range strike bomber, a multi-billion-dollar multi-year prize for contractors, is already in the research phase, despite the fact that it is still a concept. It will take several years for development to be completed. Northrop Grumman, as well as a slew of subcontractors and engineering firms, will gain. The objectives include absolute stealth, great speed, and a large bomb payload capacity. The jet will eventually replace the outdated B-52 fleet and supplement the tiny fleet of B-2 stealth bombers. The bomber's airframe will have a stealthy skin constructed of toughened reflecting material that will not only escape radar but also change colors to mirror the surroundings. The plane will be blue during the day, white during cloud cover, and black at night as planned. Precision guidance will also be available in the bomber thanks to high military-grade gyroscopes. DARPA-funded gyroscope research is underway at Northrop Grumman's Salt Lake City site. Northrop and Raytheon are working together on this. Number 6. Satellite Melter. What is one method for removing an enemy satellite? It should be melted. A DARPA-funded initiative led by Northrop Grumman and Raytheon is creating a satellite capable of hunting and tracking an adversary's military satellite. If done correctly, it will function by reflecting a sunbeam on the opposing satellite, heating it just enough to cause it to fall out of orbit and burn up on re-entry into the high stratosphere over the course of weeks. It will not appear to be a spectacular strike in the sky. In reality, it will not be noticed at all. That is the plan. It will be a 5-year initiative with a demo in 2018 and launched in 2021. Number 5. Radio. Prior to the invention of the radio, troops trained carrier pigeons to convey messages during combat. During World War I, this photograph was captured. Please don't get us wrong. Commanders could lead large armies before radio. They communicated using runners, horsemen, flags, and even pigeons. But just ask Napoleon how difficult that was. He tried to handle more than 100,000 men in the Battle of Vienna against Prussia, which was approximately the limit at the time, and he forgot about certain forces. During World War I, ships utilized wireless telegraphs, the first military radios. Shortwave radios in airplanes, tanks, and ships let these troops communicate across 150 miles during World War II. The Germans utilized the communications link well in their blitzkrieg strategy. Pilots and troops spoke through radio to coordinate the movement. Number 4. Microwave radar. Even with radar, this US soldier found a pair of binoculars useful during the Gulf War. Even with radar, this US soldier found a pair of binoculars useful during the Gulf War. Radar revolutionized both offensive and defensive warfare. It was the first automated method of not only seeing the adversary but also of being spotted. Even during World War I, keeping an eye out for the enemy meant stationing a man in the field with field glasses and instructing him to call the commander if he observed a plane. On a cloudy day, forget it. A scientific article published in 1935 described radar as a way of detecting enemies by bouncing radio waves or microwaves off solid things. Britain had developed the first radar system by 1939. It built 350-foot or 107-meter radar towers around the island to keep an eye on the sky. The towers rescued Britain during the Battle of Britain in 1940. As German jets bombed the island, the towers conveyed alerts to the British Air Command, who dispatched planes to shoot down the invaders. Radar also altered naval warfare. German submarines sank British and American ships as they crossed the Atlantic during World War II. However, once equipped with microwave radar, airplanes surpassed submarines. When the submarines surfaced, the Allies deployed planes to identify them and drop underwater bombs. Number 3. Nuclear weapons. On August 6, 2007, students gathered in Mumbai for a peaceful protest to remember the victims of the 1945 Hiroshima atomic attack. For decades, military strategists have discussed developing a weapon so horrifying that no one would use it. Most weapons people thought would be in that category just made war more horrible, historian Roland explains. Nuclear weapons are the first that everybody agrees we can't use. 2 atomic bombs were dropped on Japan at the end of World War II. One bomb's fissionable uranium created a shockwave, flame, and radiation that killed 90,000 people in Hiroshima. Since 1945, several conflicts have ripped countries apart, but none on the scale of the first 2 world wars. Number 2. Spy satellites. What should a country do when its opponent has a nuclear bomb aimed at it? Of course, he is a spy. During the Cold War, the Soviet Union and the United States were both in this scenario. Both sides possessed nuclear missiles capable of reaching and destroying every city on the planet in half an hour. Both sides have also dispatched nuclear missiles on submarines. The United States launched the Discoverer spy satellite program to monitor how quickly the Soviet Union was producing missiles and where they were being launched. Discoverer 4, the first camera-carrying satellite in the United States, launched in 1959 but did not reach orbit. Nonetheless, Discoverer 14 launched in 1960 and returned photographs. Overall, the very suspicious US utilized satellites to follow Soviet missile preparations and ensure the Soviets did not attack Europe. The Soviet Union also had satellites aimed towards the US. Modern spy satellites are capable of more than just taking photographs. They can gather telephone, radio, and internet signals, increasing the number of ways commanders might predict what is going on the ground. Continue to our last game-changing military technology for further military uses of satellites. Number 1. Global Positioning System. On October 15, 2008, a Cambodian military commander demonstrated to his men how to use a GPS before combat broke out with Thai forces. GPS transformed the globe into a massive, readily available map. Between 1989 and 1994, the United States Department of Defense developed the Navstar GPS system. It launched 24 primary satellites that broadcast radio signals continuously. Anyone with a receiver capable of picking up the waves of a few satellites can triangulate his or her position. GPS has evolved into an amazing navigation tool. A soldier using a receiver may now travel in complete darkness or in an unfamiliar location without the need for a map. The navigation function was also useful for planning strikes. If a soldier encounters enemy soldiers, he or she can record their position, including longitude, latitude, and altitude. This concludes today's video. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching. Bye!